Who hasn't watched American Pie as a teenager and thought, man, why wasn't my life anything like that? That's right. Thailand simply took that repressed desire, put it all in a pot, mixed it with 40-degree sun, and then decided to create pie. Picture a hippie town in Thailand, where each morning folks practice yoga, meditation, sound healing, that entire inner peace sensation with burning incense and deep breathing. And in the afternoon? Oh, in the afternoon they cram about 400 drunk foreigners into a river, each floating in an inner tube, with loud music, beer buckets, and a bar located mid-journey. And over there, out of nowhere, girls in bikinis start brawling in an improvised boxing ring. There are some guys fighting too, but I don't watch them, no. It's utter insanity. Welcome to Pie. And get this, a lot of people swear this is the best tour in Thailand, the secret favorite of backpacking travelers. The place nestled in northern Thailand, Pai is the kind of town that feels like a spiritual retreat in the morning and by afternoon transforms into a forbidden episode of American Pie Thailand edition. Pai is located in northern Thailand, approximately 3 hours from Chiang Mai, nestled deep within the mountains. It's small, isolated, and so discreet that it vanishes if you blink on the map. It's not Phuket, it's not Bangkok, and it doesn't even come close to Chiang Mai's level of fame. Almost no one knows about it, and maybe that's exactly its charm. The journey to reach it involves an infinite succession of twists and turns, akin to an endurance trial, revealing those who genuinely seek spiritual serenity. But once you finally arrive, you quickly grasp why it captivates so many enthusiasts. The place is beautiful. Green valleys, rice paddies, waterfalls, afternoon mist, cute cafes, temples, hot springs. Pai is one of those villages that seems to have stopped in time. It's small enough that you can walk across it easily, but sufficiently large to draw in backpacking travelers globally who wish to vanish for a short period. And the most amusing aspect? Amidst all its Zen aesthetic, meditation, yoga, wholesome food, and bohemian charm, Pai also holds a completely unexpected facet, the kind that makes even a monk observe and ponder, this is simply too good to be true. Behind its tranquil facade, the town has emerged as a beloved secret among backpackers, all of whom are on the hunt for both stunning natural beauty and affordable, lively fun. And it's from this unlikely mix of deep peace and international party that the craziest experience in Pai is born. A river full of tourists, booze, music, and questionable decisions. The Zen Paradise. In the mornings, Pai truly resembles a town plucked straight from a simple living documentary. It's truly impressive. You wake to find people doing yoga by the river, meditating on the lawn, practicing Tai Chi in the mist, and enjoying freshly ground organic coffee, all exuding that familiar, I abandoned capitalism and now I'm vegan vibe. The landscapes truly enhance this, with green valleys, giant mountains surrounding everything, hidden waterfalls, peaceful trails, and natural hot springs that make anyone look like they've finally found profound inner peace. There's also the White Buddha, an enormous statue on top of a hill, with an absurd view of the entire town. It's the kind of place where you even let out an involuntary wow, even if you're not a Buddhist. The truth is, Pai truly knows how to pose. With minimalist cafes, vegan cuisine, soft music, folks walking barefoot, and artisans selling items you don't really need but purchase due to their positive energy. It's literally the perfect paradise for anyone who wants to post on Instagram that they're on a journey of self-connection. And it works. For the first few hours, you truly believe in this idea. The problem is that this calmness has an expiration date. In Pai, the peace lasts until late morning. After that, the town undergoes a complete transformation. The Zen sound of nature is gradually replaced by live music, clinking glasses, excited backpackers, crowded bars, and that spiritual energy starts to evaporate like alcohol in the heat. Because that's Pai for you. Spiritual enlightenment in the morning. In the afternoon, alcoholic enlightenment takes over, and that's exactly when paradise begins to reveal its true personality, a side no influencer ever showcases on their feed. The warm-up for chaos. After 12, Pi undergoes a personality shift, much like an ex at an open bar party. All that initial spirituality, the quiet, the burning incense, and the overall peaceful vibe gradually gives way to an atmosphere more akin to a rowdy Friday afternoon at a university fraternity house. The streets start to fill up. The cafes get packed with foreigners on laptops pretending to work, but who are clearly spending the day watching X videos. The smell of food permeates everything: Thai, Italian, Mexican, vegan, artisan burgers. Pi transforms into a shameless multicultural buffet. And then comes the soundtrack. Live music every day, without a break. From a discreet bar to an improvised stage, there's always someone singing like it's The Voice finale, while the crowd, half sober, half not so much, cheers them on. The night market opens, transforming into a human corridor of backpackers tasting things they can't even pronounce. It's half festival, half exchange program, and a complete organized chaos. At this juncture, PAI truly reveals its primary objective: a place where you can spend the morning purifying the soul and the afternoon destroying your reputation. Because behind the Zen discourse, the hippie aura, the nature vibe, there's a town that has fully embraced the crazy backpacker culture. The bars start filling up early. People go for their first drink like they're taking a vitamin. And all that talk of, "I'm here to reconnect with myself," quickly morphs into, "Let's just make a quick stop at a bar." It's at that moment you realize Pi isn't just peace and love. Pi is peace, love, and some drinks. This entire preparation, this warm-up, this gradual festive build-up leads to just one final destination: Tipsy Tubing, the river where spirituality takes a holiday and alcohol takes the reins. Yet, before I place you in this inflatable boat alongside roughly 400 intoxicated and exhilarated tourists, you must observe how this town meticulously crafts the ideal setting for this chaotic spectacle. Tipsy Tubing, the liquid amusement park of booze. When I got in the river with my inner tube, the first thing I thought was, okay, who's driving this thing? Because it definitely wasn't me. The current pulled in one direction, I tried going another, but the inner tube just continued on its way, carrying me along like an extra in my own adventure. The beginning even tries to convince you it's going to be calm. You look at the mountains, hear distant music, feel that light breeze and think, all right, here we go. Huh? 2 bends later, the river shows you the truth. Total chaos. And then you remember you're not alone. There are over 200 tourists going down the same river, each one believing they know what they're doing. Beside me, a somewhat tipsy crowd, laughing at everything. On the other hand, a couple was attempting to capture a romantic selfie, nearly tumbling upside down. Behind them, a whole group was trying to paddle in sync, providing a clear example of exactly what not to do. Then, the festival starts. Inner tubes collide, people twirl around, some get caught on the bank just observing, others stumble into the bushes unintentionally, cries for aid erupt as if in a survival drama, some feign swimming expertise, and naturally, individuals who just surrendered their dignity, letting the river chart their course. Every stretch was a new chapter. A guy kept falling, getting up, falling again. A girl got lost from the group and happily continued on her tube. A backpacker trying to paddle with a flip-flop because he lost his oar. And a Brit yelling "guys" to nothing because his friends had vanished. And it's at that moment you realize this isn't a tour, it's a real-time social experiment. Thailand is looking at you and asking, "Let's see how far your shame goes today." Next to me, a blonde passes by, holding her tube with one hand and a bottle with the other, with the balance of someone with a PhD in open bar parties. Soaked hair, melted mascara, dignity canceled at the door. Right after, a perfect Swede, impeccable tan, Zen vibe, until she announces, "Hold my beer," and jumps off her tube in a decision that clearly didn't consult physics. People were spinning around aimlessly. Another person chuckled as she attempted to reach her boyfriend, who was being kidnapped by the trees, and the German endeavored to manage his tube as if it were a military operation, yet failed spectacularly. The river, like a mother pushing a stroller, patiently carried everyone, even the undeserving. And then comes the part no one prepares you for, the mid-river bar. Indeed, a bar right in the midst of the jungle. Thai capitalism truly knows no bounds. I pulled my tube up to the rope as if I were parking an imaginary car. I climbed out a bit unsteadily, bought a drink, and suddenly I was in a mini improvised festival. People danced in the mud, frisbees flew, DJs spun tunes, women played volleyball, drinks were passed hand to hand, couples bickered, and others instantly formed lifelong friendships with newfound acquaintances. Everything happening at the same time, as if the universe had decided to test how much alcohol and drunk people bumping into you can handle. And of course, the local game scene, an impromptu boxing match. A grown man, bikini-clad women, cheering, filming, and people just watching despite not knowing why. That's how it is there. If there's space and alcohol, a sport is born. No one judges, everyone bumps, gets lost, finds, hugs, laughs, falls, and gets back up. After that stop, everyone re-enters the river more excited, less coordinated. And by the end of the ride, everyone is in that I love you man mode in 10 different languages. A Brazilian hugging a Frenchman, an American complimenting a Swede, and a German making a heart gesture with his hands, a beautiful yet utterly pathetic sight all at once. And that's when you understand why Tipsy Tubing is the pinnacle of pie. In the morning, the city offers peace, yoga, spirituality, incense, and silence. And in the afternoon, it gives you cold water, warm beer, inner tubes bumping like bumper cars, and a human laboratory fueled by alcohol and freedom. And honestly, despite the chaos, it's truly impossible not to enjoy yourself. It's chaotic, over the top, absurd, and precisely for these reasons, it's perfect. There, it's just you, the river, and folks laughing at their own choices. And in the end, you're laughing too, because it's all part of it. The return of the survivors. Tipsy Tubing is a ton of fun, but there's also the side nobody posts on Instagram, because sun, water, and alcohol never just bring joy. There's always a hidden cost. First, the sun. And it's not a tanning bed, it's a grill. You go in excited and come out looking like a forgotten tomato at the market. Half the crowd ends up red, burning, begging for a shade that doesn't exist. Second, safety, or the complete lack of it. No lifeguard, no warning, no rope, nothing. The river itself is the tour guide, and the only recommendation is try not to hit anything too hard. Even so, every minute someone scrapes their knee, loses their flip-flop, hits the bank, or discovers the hard way that cell phones don't float. Third, the sheer chaos. Groups get separated, couples start fighting, and each person drifts into a different current. Backpackers disappear around a bend, only to emerge an hour later, smiling like they found enlightenment, but really they were in the bushes with a fresh acquaintance. And then, of course, there's the spiritual hangover, because after 2 hours of sun and beer, you reach the end with your body begging for mercy, a dizzy head, and your soul still lingering at the mid-river bar, craving more drinks. Influencers don't show any of that. They only post the beautiful inner tube, the romantic sunset, the angelic smile. Nobody shows the limping, injured foreigner, the misstep, or the final truck of people looking like post-apocalyptic extras returning to civilization. When the river calms and the inner tubes reach the bank, the most comical part begins, getting up from the tube. The scene is universal. All individuals are attempting to walk as if they'd never used their own legs. People shaking, people tripping, people hugging a towel like a cane, and you're just there, celebrating being alive. Then the savior appears, the giant truck, the emotional ambulance of tubing. Everyone climbs on however they can, crooked clothes, hair stiff from sun and water, tube on their arm, wet cell phone displaying blurry photos nobody remembers taking. And when the truck starts moving, the vibe is clear, a combo of tiredness, laughter, and denial. Consciousness slowly returning, not dignity. That stayed in the river. The road to Pi is a mix of silence and fragmented memories. Did I fall? Hit a tree? Kiss a transvestite? Or a beautiful blonde? General answer, yes. When the truck stops on Walking Street, the shock appears. A quiet street, good food, normal people, and you, all crooked, tanned in 3 shades, looking like you just competed in an alcoholic inner tube racing world championship. But even so, everyone's happy, tired, burnt, hungry, but happy. Because tipsy tubing is just that. Shared chaos, collective shame, stories you'll never admit to your parents, and that strange feeling that despite everything, it was worth every single minute. Is it messy? Yes. Is it unpredictable? Totally. But that's exactly why it works, and why everyone comes back. And in the end, everyone gets off the truck like a 2-meter newborn trying to relearn how to walk, but happy, because their dignity stayed in the river. The pie you truly ought to experience. Following tubing after you've showered, changed, and attempted to regain a semblance of dignity, pie performs a peculiar trick. It embraces you again. It's as if it says, "All right, had your fun with the chaos? Let me now prove to you that there's more to me than that." And then, the town's second version truly starts. The initial action for many is to rush straight to Pie Canyon. If tubing is chaos, the canyon is balance. You get there and understand where all the hype comes from. It's essentially a Thai pocket Grand Canyon, featuring narrow trails that feel like a survival catwalk, and such breathtakingly absurd vistas that you'll completely forget that painful bruise on your thigh from falling off the inner tube. At sunset, it becomes a spectacle. The sky turns orange, pink, purple, and you're up there breathing deeply, thinking, "My God, I almost died today, but look at this." Then you can head down to the classic white Buddha on top of the hill. Ascending that stairway with legs fatigued from tubing feels almost like a penance, but once you arrive, everything falls into place. The enormous statue overlooking the whole valley, the breeze softly blowing, the subtle chime of bells, and you feeling illuminated for around 5 minutes until recalling that you nearly became a mere statistic at the mid-river bar. The hot springs truly warrant their own separate chapter. You'll find a variety of choices, ranging from the classic Pai hot springs to the Saingam hot springs, which, despite being called secret hot springs, are not secret in the slightest, yet remain wonderfully relaxing. You immerse yourself in the warm water, close your eyes, and feel your body realizing that it's finally safe and no longer needs to fight the current. If you want an Instagrammable experience with a hippie childhood feel, there's the iconic yellow bamboo bridge, a long, entirely bamboo bridge crossing an open field that looks like a movie set. The sun shines, the wind blows, and you think, yeah, Pai has these quirks. And there are waterfalls, several of them. Pambok, perfect for swimming in a cold pool surrounded by rocks. Mupeng, famed for its natural slide where foreigners always slip incorrectly. Mae Eng, a long, tiring, and beautiful trail, the kind you only do if you really need to prove something to yourself. However, Pai's authentic essence also manifests in its modest, everyday locales. At the night market, the street turns into an aromatic corridor. Pad Thai, banana pancakes, skewers, and fresh juice, all cheap and served with Thailand's characteristic smile. There's also the land split, one of the town's most curious spots, a giant crack in the earth from an earthquake, now an attraction, thanks to the pure ingenuity of the local family. You arrive and are greeted with fruits, jams, homemade juices, and such absurd friendliness that it makes you want to move there and plant potatoes with them. Of course, there are quiet temples scattered throughout the city, wooden bridges, cafes overlooking the countryside, and that authentic Thai rural vibe that embraces imperfection, which is why it works so well. To genuinely end your day in tranquility, head to the famed Sunset Bar, a popular hippie sunset spot. Enjoy soft melodies, comfy floor cushions, a truly stunning view, and that distinct impression that Pai is gently urging you to extend your stay by another week. And it's then, at day's end, you grasp the secret. Pai is small, simple, and humble. It's the kind of place that truly doesn't need to shout to be special. It reveals every little corner slowly, without pressure or rigid plans. And it's precisely this calm rhythm, this natural anti-stress, that makes so many people fall in love and never want to leave. After the madness of the river, Pai delivers its essence: nature, silence, spirituality, good food, smiling people, and an easy life. It's like saying, look, I can be normal too, but that's just until the next tubing naturally. When it comes down to it, Pai is this delicious paradox. It's half spiritual retreat and half international party. In the morning, you swear you've found inner peace. By afternoon, you're on a river with drunk strangers. And come evening, you're happily enjoying pad thai, re-evaluating all your life decisions with a smile. Pai is not Zen. Pai is not a party. Pai is both, fighting within the same city, and you're in the middle, not knowing which version won you over. And that's precisely why nearly everyone returns, because Pai is truly that unique spot that bestows peace upon you, only to then provide you with ample cause to lose it. And strangely, the two things work very well together. If you survived and made it this far, comment, Pai, hey. And don't forget to click on the video appearing on your screen if you wish to uncover even more about this country, brimming with mysteries, playful tricks, and tales that prompt any backpacker to reevaluate their life choices. Thanks, and catch you later.